This is Villarajendra, lecturer in English, Government Degree, District Pedagogy. Today, we would like to discuss about the direct and indirect speeches in English language and how to change a direct speech to indirect speech. So, it is most important thing that we have to learn before going to learn about the direct and indirect speeches. We have to be familiar with the persons of English language. Persons means first person and second person and third person. First person means I is the first person, you is the second person, and he, she, it is the third person. So while we are discussing about the direct and indirect speeches, we have to get good practice about this direct and indirect speeches. Why? Because first one is going to explain something, and the second person has to carry away the message to the third person. It is the process of direct and indirect speeches. So direct speeches may be said by the first person or second person, and the indirect speech may be explained by second person to the third person. So this is what we have to learn, and we learn the grammar today, direct and indirect speech. Look at the sentence. He said, "I am playing." He said that he was playing. He said that he was playing. Why? Because look at the sentence. He said, "I am playing." First person said, and the second person and the third person are observing here. He said, "I am playing," and it's a sentence that was completed action. And this message has to carry away by the third person to the third person by second person or first person, whatever it may be. He said that he was playing. Why we used he instead of I means he is used. Why? Because we use it as the first person. We are explaining one person to another person. So he said something that what we are going to say again. So that he was used here, and was for the past tense and denoting it's a past tense. And I say someone said that I am playing, and I am conveying the message to another person about the first person. He said that he was playing. So this way we have to understand. She said, "I am painting." She said that she was painting. He said, "I did this exercise last night." He said that he had did. We have to use the past word done. Done this. For this we have to use that exercise. Last night we have to go through with the previous night. You will see all that in our uh, on in the next slides. The inspector said, "I am glad to be with you today." The inspector said that he was glad to be with me today. He said that I'm glad to be with you today. The inspector said that he was glad to be with me that day. And today becomes that day. And what are the changes did you notice? Omission of commas, use of that, and use of pronoun. Just you have observed here. And another observation is that use of that and use of changes we observed. And a speaker's word can be reported into two ways. What is first word? Direct to speech. Second one is indirect speech. Exact words of the speaker, the teacher said to Rajesh, you have a bright future. So exact words of the teacher, we say indirect way. In the indirect speech, what the speaker has said without using the exact word. The teacher told Rajesh that he had a bright future. So while we are changing into the indirect, the speaker's words has to be changed without using the exact word. Without using the exact word. Try to listen once again. The teacher said to Rajesh, you have a bright future. And while we are changing the sentence into indirect speech, the teacher told Rajesh that he had a bright future. Then change of the tense, how can we do tense? How to use reported speech? When we use reported speech, we usually are talking about the past. Why? Because the action was completed. So the verbs are usually changes to the past tenses in reported speech. For example, am or is becomes was, or becomes were, have has becomes had, can can't becomes could couldn't, will won't becomes would wouldn't, and like this change of this tense into the indirect speech. Present simple tense becomes should be past simple tense. Present continuous tense should be in the past continuous tense. Present perfect tense should be denoted with the past perfect tense. Past perfect continuous tense should be, sorry, present perfect tense should be denoted with the past perfect continuous tense. And simple past may be past perfect. Past continuous should be in the past perfect continuous. And simple future will be denoted with the will and take the auxiliary verb like would. Future continuous will be denoting with would be. Future perfect tense will have be denoted with would have. So try to understand that there are simple future and future continuous tense be translated into indirect speech. And the present for all four can be translated into past. Present, simple present can be simple past. Present continuous should be past continuous. Past perfect should present perfect should be past perfect. Present perfect continuous should be past perfect continuous. Past simple should be past perfect, and past continuous should be past perfect continuous tense. In this way, we would like to do the changes. And some changes maybe we can observe according to the adverbs in the indirect speech. Today can be it becomes that day, the same day. Tomorrow becomes the next day or the following day. Yesterday becomes the last day or the previous day or the day before. Next week, the following week. Next month, the following month. Next year, the following year. Last week, the previous week. Last month, the previous month. Last year is denoted with the previous year. Now, just becomes then. Ago, before. Here, there. This, that. Like that, we can see the changes of adverbs according to the reporting speech. If the reporting verb in the direct speech statement is in the present tense or future tense, then it remains the same in indirect speech, that is, no change in the tense. Why? Because present tense or the future tense, the reporting verb should be in the direct speech should be present tense or future tense. Look at the sentences, for example. My friend says, my friends say, he is very handsome. My friends say that he is very handsome. There is no change of he is very handsome is present tense. And for present tense, there is no changes in the indirect sentence. Indirect tense. My granny. My granny will say, you need to eat well. My granny will say that you need to eat well. Then, if the reporting verb is in the past tense in the indirect speech, the statement, then the verbs within the inverted commas will undergo correspondingly changes in the indirect speech statements. For example, for simple present tense becomes a simple past. The girl said the flower is pretty. The girl said that The flower was pretty. And the present continuous, we can see it becomes the past continuous. The old man said, the rain is falling very heavily. The old man said that the rain was falling very heavily. Then look at the other examples. Present perfect, how it becomes to be past perfect. For example, the principal said all the students have passed. The principal said that all the students had passed. For simple past and how it becomes to be past perfect. Rohan said Seetal arrived yesterday. Rohan said that Seetal had arrived the previous day. Yesterday should be changed according to the previous day. And said said means it's a simple past we have come across, and it has to become past perfect. Past in the past perfect, the auxiliary verb should be had, and verb form should be in the past participle arrived. Medals change into their past forms. Like he said, some models they say change into according to the past forms. He said she can dance. He said that she could dance. Can changed as into could. Personal pronouns change into according to first person, first, third, second person, third person, and for third person, try to understand the formula of sense. First person is subject, second person is object, and the third person, there is no change about the third person. If the subject is quoted, the word is in the first person, then it will be changed according to the subject of the reported verb. For example, he said to me, I like coffee. He told me that he liked coffee. He told me that he liked coffee. Look at the changes of I and he here. If the subject is subject of the quoted words is in the second person, then it will be changed according to the sub object of the reporting verb. He said to me, "You look happy." He told me that I looked happy. Like that, you changes according to the persons as I. If the subject is subject of the quoted words in the third person, then there is no changes. There is no changes. There is no there. Then there will be no changes. Example: he said to me, "She has already left." He told me that she had already left. He told me that she had already left. So there is no changes in the third person. Then look at the first person. I said I want to consult my parents. I said that I wanted to consult my parents. There is no change of the first person according to the uh, sentence. You said I want to consult my parents. You said that you wanted to consult your parents. You said that I want to consult my parents. You said that you wanted to consult your parents. She said that I want to consult my parents. She said that she wanted to consult her parents. Look at the first person and second person, third person. Anil said to me, look at the second person. Anil said to me, your parents are waiting for you. Anil told me that my parents were waiting for me. You changed as me, you were changed as mine. Anil said to you, your parents are waiting for you. Anil told you that your parents were waiting for you. Your parents waiting for you. There is no change in the way of second person. And Anil said to him, your parents are waiting for you. Anil told him that his parents were waiting for him. His parents were waiting for him. It's third person. And look at the third person change. I say to you, he should be trusted. I told you that he should be trusted. He becomes again he. There is no change in the third person. He said that she is looking for a job. She said that she was looking for a job. And the change of the adverbs you can observe here. This becomes that, today becomes that day, these becomes those, now becomes then, here becomes there, tomorrow becomes the following or the following day or the next day, yesterday becomes the previous day or the last day before, last day, the last day before, tonight becomes that night. Change of the adverbs in the sentence. Look at the examples. He said, I shall discuss this matter next week. He said that he would discuss. Shall becomes a word. Would discuss that matter. This becomes that matter. That that matter the following week. He said, we shifted this house to 2 weeks ago. Look at the sentence, how it changes. She said that they had shifted, it's a past tense and it becomes the past perfect. They had shifted to that, this becomes that house 2 weeks before. Ago is said as before. Ago is said as before. Look at the interrogative sentence. Interrogative means we can say the WH questions, who, where, what. Who, where, what. Look at the examples. A question is changed into statements. In the indirect, in indirect, in a direct speech, yes or no questions are reporting verbs. Yes or no questions and the reporting verbs is changed into ask. అన్న ఒక్క నిమిషం అన్న వస్తా. In indirect speech, yes no questions, reporting verb is changed into ask or inquire. Yes or no, we have to go through with in the reported verb like asking or inquiring. And if is becomes if whether is used, it becomes according to the changes. She said, are you writing a poem? He asked me, she asked me, are you? It's a question. It becomes inquiring like whether. If you I was writing a poem. Otherwise you can go through with the whether I was writing a poem or not. This is what we can say yes or no type of question answers. And I say to him, do you know when she will go home? I asked him if he knew when she would go home. Will becomes the would, and no becomes new because it's in the past. In the case of question word like who, how, where, etc., some words is used to introduce the reported speech. Like this, where do you live? She asked me. She asked me where I lived. She asked me where I live. He asked her, how do you write a poem? How do you write poems? He asked me how I wrote poems. Right becomes wrote because the past tense. And look at the imperatives like please, orders or requests or advices. An imperative sentence is reporting verb is changed into ask, advise, request. Tense remains same. The verb is put in the infinitive too. I say to take your seat. I asked him to take his seat. I asked him to take his seat. He said, give me some food, please. He asked me to give him some food, please. He asked me to give him some food, please. Like this, we can change the sentences. Look at the exclamatory sentences. How we can going to change in this exclamatory. In exclamatory sentences, reporting verb is changed into exclaimed with joy, sorrow, anger, surprise, etc. That is used. That means certain feelings can be expressed in exclamatory sentences. He said, how beautiful a place. He said, how beautiful a place. He exclaimed that. He exclaimed with joy that it was very beautiful place. He exclaimed with joy that it was a very beautiful place. Rohan said that alas his father died. Rohan exclaimed that Rohan exclaimed with sorrow that alas his father died. When we go through with the changes of the direct speeches, we can go through with some more detailed explanation about the direct and indirect speeches. Change of the pronoun, like direct speech, John said, I am coming. In the indirect speech, John said that he was coming. Subject is in the simple present and it should be changed into past present. Sorry, past simple. Second, direct speech, change of the tense. John said, I am coming. And look at the sentence. John said that he was coming, was observed here. John said, I did this exercise the last night. In the indirect speech, we can observe that. You can see the changes according to the color. You can see and you can observe the changes according to the color. John said that he had done that exercise the previous night. This becomes that, last night becomes the previous night. And again, try to observe that. This becomes that, here becomes there, now becomes then, today becomes that day, yesterday becomes the day before and the previous day, tomorrow becomes the next day, and last day becomes the week before, and the last week becomes the week before or the previous week. The next month, the following month. Ago becomes the before. And some of the examples we can observe. John asked her, are you coming? Yes or no type of questions. John asked whether, yes, whether he is coming or not. Look at the sentence. John asked whether she was coming or if she was coming. John asked where is Mary. John asked where Mary was. Where Mary was. And the direct speech, John ordered Bill, clean my boots. John ordered Bill to clean his boots. To infinitive is used here for order. Look at the promise or action or request or orders. The reporting speech. John said the sun rises from the east. John said that the sun rises from the east. John said that the sun rises from the east. So the present future tense can be, simple present tense can be said in the simple present tense because of the universal truth. Present and future tenses can be said. And if the original speaker is yes, speaker presents and future is still present, and future in the other words, the tense cannot be changed. John said, I must do my homework now. John said that he must do his homework then. Now becomes then. Would becomes would, should, could, might, ought to, and must are unchanged. And my friend asked me, where is Venus? My friend asked me where Venus was. My friend asked me, how are you? My friend asked me how I was. The transformation of the process, put the subject before the verb and change the pronoun. You becomes I. Join the clauses using how, who, where, or when, and adjust the second verb to the time frame of the first verb. For example, WH question, my friend said, where are you going? My friend asked me where I was going. My friend said, whom did you call? My friend asked me whom I had called. Whom I had called. My friend said whom I was calling. My friend asked me whom I had been calling. That means it becomes the perfect continuous tenses. Past perfect continuous tense. It's I was calling. That means had become the past tense and continued as a past perfect. My friend said, where have you been? My friend asked me where I had been. He asked me, what did you say? He asked me what she had said. She asked me, where are you leaving? He asked me, when I was leaving. He asked me, who is coming for dinner? He asked me, who was coming for dinner? He asked me, how many times have you seen that movie? He asked me, how many times I had seen that movie. That movie. He asked me, what time it is. He asked me, what time it was. He asked me, how old are you? He asked me how old I was. Let's check and learn some more. In the indirect speech of the language are two ways to conveying someone else that said, that is direct speech, which is called as reported speech. So reporting speech. Indirect speech, that is called as reported speech. Quoted speech or reporting speech and reported speech. So direct speech may be called as quoted speech as well as reporting speech. Indirect speech may be called as reported speech. And look at some more rules. Direct speech, that is what quoted speech or reporting speech, involves the quoting the exact words uttered by the person within inverted commas or question marks. And I said, I will become home tonight. It's a statement. I will become the home tonight. Look at the indirect speech. Indirect speech is what is reported speech. On the other hand, does not have to be within quotes or reported words to word. In fact, unless one is relaying the exact words spoken, one should never use the quotation marks. She said that she would becoming home that night. She would becoming home that night. So look at the exclamatory sentences. Sentences which express the state of joy, sorrow, wonder is called exclamatory sentence. For example, hooray, he won the match. Alas, I failed the test. Wow, what a nice t-shirt it is. And look at the changes according to the exclamatory sentences. Exclaimed with sorrow or joy, it has to be understood, and exclaimed with joy or wonder can be said is added to the reporting verb depending upon the nature of the exclamatory sentence in the indirect speech. Direct speech, look at the indirect speech. He said, hooray, I won the prize. He exclaimed with joy that he had won a prize. He said that, alas, I failed in the examination. She explained with sorrow that she failed in the examination. She failed in the examination. She had failed in the examination. John said, wow, what a nice shirt it is. John exclaimed with wonder that it was a night t-shirt. That it was a night t-shirt. A sentence which expresses command, request, advice, or suggestions is called imperative sentence. For example, open the door, please help me learn your lessons. They are changed according to the verbs like ordered, requested, advised, suggested, forbade, and not to do. And in the reporting verb, look at the sentence. He said to me, please help me. He requested me to help him. He said to him, you should work hard for examination. He suggested him to work hard for examination. He said to him, do not tell a lie. He said to him, not to lie, not to tell a lie, not to tell a lie. He said, open the door. He ordered to open the door. The teacher said to student, do not waste the time. The teacher advised the student not to waste the time. And for indirect speeches and interrogative sentence, and the indirect speech observes the nature and the questions and the changes according to the indirect speech, like its rules for indirect speech. One type which can be answered in only yes or no, and other type will be need a little bit of explanation for it. An answer cannot be answered in yes or no. Look at the sentence, direct speech. They said to me, did you go to school? They asked me if I had gone to school. If I had gone to school. From this, I would like to end my session. Thank you.